are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan but of despair. Come yet again, come yet again, come.
Welcome to this virtual gathering of the Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I am Lisa Reitzes, a member of the worship planning team and your worship associate today. Joining me behind the scenes is an extraordinary technical team, making sure that this worship service is delivered to you virtually as gracefully as possible. Whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever or however you love, however your body moves and your brain works, however you identify, you are welcome here. We gather today from many locations, but nevertheless we acknowledge the unceded ancestral lands of the Duwamish people and the Suquamish people, indigenous nations that are still here in this region and are continuing to honor and celebrate their ancient heritage. At this time, we are acutely aware of the traumatic history of pandemics brought through colonization on these native cultures. Let's take a moment to offer humble respect for this place and its peoples. Our opening words are from Annie Dillard. Beauty and grace are performed whether or not we sense them. The least we can do is to try to be there. And on that note, it is with great joy that I introduce today's special musical guests, the Go Janes. This trio of Arnie Adler, Patrice O'Neill, and Kathleen Tracy have decades of experience as performers, visual and recording artists, community organizers, educators, and inquisitive consumers of life. Through story and song, they will lead us into a common circle of humor, beauty, mystery, and humanity. Arnie was not able to join in the recording of selections for this service. We send our healing thoughts to Arnie and her family. At another time, we'll invite the whole band back. The flaming chalice is the beacon of our faith, the symbol of our will to form beloved community, and the light of hope that calls us to take part in the healing of the world. Our chalice lighter today is Liz Berggren.
Liz is a retired nurse with 2 millennial-age children who are thankfully still living in Seattle so she can see them regularly. Liz's journey to becoming a UU started during her childhood in the Catholic Church. She remembers wondering as an elementary school catechism student about the unfairness of a religion that doomed babies who died before they could be baptized to limbo in perpetuity. By the time Liz reached middle school, she was thoroughly disillusioned and alienated by the dogmatic and patriarchal aspects of organized religion. It took a long time to make her way back, first to Rainier Valley UU, and then on to Westside. But Liz is so grateful that she did. Liz says her UU faith is truly a lifeline in these trying times.
Our chalice lighting words are Beatitudes by the Reverend Lee Pascula, who serves the Wellsprings UU congregation near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Blessed are the elderly and the immunosuppressed. Blessed are the fearful, the anxious, and the irritable. Blessed are the ones who use humor to get by, the ones who could use a vacation anyway, the ones who fear for their life. Blessed are the ones who are sick of it, all the flawed logic, the security theater. Blessed are the ones who cry out, "This is why we need a safety net, a kinder society, a new world." Blessed are the healthcare workers, the administrators catching heat for every decision, the messengers with no power over the message. Blessed are the sad and the lonely. Blessed are the healthy and the sick, the well and the unwell. Blessed are all of us just trying to do our best. Blessed are those who stay kind and clear, who keep our eyes open to each other. Blessed is our neighbor. Blessed are we all. Blessed are we all. Blessed are we all. So welcome again to the Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation. If you are with us for the first time, we are so glad that you found us during this complex time. Please contact us via our website, wsuu.org, so that we can send you our weekly electronic newsletter, the Westside Weekly, with information about upcoming worship services and other virtual activities. At Westside, we aspire to be warm and welcoming to everyone, but the necessity for physical distance these days is requiring us to be creative and energetic about staying connected on Sunday mornings. Let's just take a moment to imagine the faces of our friends at Westside and to picture the spaces we keep open to welcome in newcomers. You're now invited to check in via the chat box, letting each other know who and how you are. You're also invited to send a quick text or email to someone you care about now, making the interdependent web of our existence vivid and loving. So today, to continue those great conversations, we're going to try a virtual coffee hour. Immediately after the postlude, stay online by clicking the Zoom link that was included in this morning's Worship Blast email. That link will also show up in the chat area at the end of the service, and you'll be able to click on it directly from there. That Zoom link will take us into a meeting format so that we can see each other's faces and take turns sharing. If the group is large, we will form smaller breakout groups. Participants won't have to do anything to join the groups. They will be assigned randomly. We hope you will meet someone new. So now more than ever, it's vital that all members read the Westside Weekly electronic newsletter to stay current on the wealth of information that our Bridge Minister, Deanna, professional staff, and lay leadership have compiled to keep us all connected and engaged in the life of the congregation. This week's edition is overflowing with important items about RE activities, the stewardship campaign, news from the transition working group regarding the step towards officially welcoming Reverend Christopher, as well as ideas and resources for this time of staying safe at home. In that same light, here's a follow-up message from your Board of Trustees to what was published in this week's weekly. By this time, they say, we hope that most or even all of you have had an online connection with your congregational care cluster on Zoom. We also hope you're finding new ways to connect with each other through any small group ministries or groups of any kind you have formed through the years at Westside. Our new Zoom clusters are meant to ensure that every one of us has a place to be seen and heard and supported through this COVID-19 experience. We hope you'll also continue to nurture groups or relationships that already exist and sustain you in our community. With our strongest voice as Westside leaders, we call on all of us to foster resiliency. That could mean pulling back to have more quiet space, and it could mean leaning in with creative ways to connect to each other. If leaning in is what you need, please reach out, share virtual dinners, write love notes, make music and record it, share what sustains you and brings you peace or joy at this time. Listen to each other's sorrows, make a pledge, and invest in our beloved community. And sometimes, turn off all your electronics for a deep and sustaining breath in the present moment. Thank you to everyone for all the ways you're already leaning in to care for one another. Westside begins with we, and we will be stronger together. And I just want to say thank you to the Board of Trustees, who is meeting enormous amounts of time to, again, along with the technical teams and the pastoral teams, to keep us held and safe and connected. So there are a couple of announcements for today. First of all, there is a leadership assembly at 1 o'clock today, when Westside's leadership assembly meeting will occur via Zoom. The leadership assembly is comprised of those who are currently filling leadership roles in the congregation, such as committee chairs, group and small group ministry leaders, board and nominating committee members, and staff. On Friday, the meeting agenda and Zoom information were sent to Leadership Assembly members via email. However, this meeting is open to all. If you have been a Westside leader in the past or are considering being a Westside leader in the future, or if you're just curious about what is being addressed, the board invites you to be part of this afternoon's meeting. If you have not already received the Zoom connection information before 1 o'clock today, send an email to the board at board@wsuu.org. The other announcement I have is that we're delighted to announce that Joan Whitley has joined the Pastoral Associates team. Here is a greeting from Joan.
Good morning. I'm Joan Whitley, and I'm happy to be joining the pastoral care team. I've thought about it frequently over the past few years, and I literally accosted Marie with questions when it was announced that she was retiring. My work background is in early childhood education, and my master's is in human development. I worked at Providence Mount St. Vincent for 17 years, directing children's services and the intergenerational program. I have been drawn to helping others most of my life. I have worked with young children, with parents, and with teachers. I feel I bring to the pastoral care team my compassion and my sense of encouragement that may be of use to some during stressful times. I'm pleased to be accepted by this team and look forward to working with you. Some of you already know me as a Sunday morning greeter, a job that I truly love and will return to when COVID-19 has passed and we can return to our sanctuary. This is a little bit about me. I have 3 children. I have 2 grandchildren, and almost every Sunday I make a dinner for my family and we play some table games. I miss this event very much, but we will get through it. We have figured out how to play table games through FaceTime, and it's a little odd, but we get really silly and have a lot of fun, and the important part is that we're together. Thank you to our beloved community. Stay well, stay home, and I hope to talk with some of you in the future. Thank you.
Joan, it's wonderful to see your face, and thank you for all of your service to the congregation. Again, please make sure to check in on your Westside Weekly for so many other things that have been announced, and we'll let you know how to keep connected to each other. Now, as we regather and center ourselves, you will find the words of our congregational affirmation on your screen. One of the most important expressions of how we are bound together as a community of faith, children, youth, and adults, is this spoken affirmation. This is a statement of our highest values as Unitarian Universalists and the promises we make to each other at Westside to create our beloved community. Please join me. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another. Thank you. In this intensely altered and complex time, let's take a few moments to embrace the joys and hold tenderly the sorrows that have filled our days this week. Please join me in a time of silence. I'd like to share a number of joys and sorrows that were sent in this week, right up until last night. From Sandra Rudd, who says, Candace, the courageous Sullivan, has enjoyed her trek to New Zealand and Australia despite some glitches and a delayed return. She has arrived home safely yesterday. Great joy in Candy coming back to us safely and well. Welcome back, Candy. From me, after 17 years, my work at Seattle Children's Hospital ended on March 19th. I will miss helping create the signage, wayfinding, and art environments at that special place. I'm taking a period of sabbatical to find out what will come next in my work life. And I want to note that in the weekly, in that message was also my new email. It's very important to make that change in your contacts. I don't want to miss your messages, and the old account is being closed tomorrow. Vanessa Shaughnessy sends news that her mother, Heather, has tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday in Montana. Please hold her and her wife, Ren, who is also sick, in your hearts as they work on recovery. Please also send love to their family, who is very worried. Marion Key and Fred Walmsley are happy to share that Fred's dad received new medication for his heart problems, and it is working. He has regained strength and returned to his normal activity level. Marion is still with him in southwestern Indiana until it is much safer to return home. And I wanted to repeat something that was spoken in last week's service from Reverend Emisha of our partner church congregation in Romania. She said, "I know from the news that Seattle is hit hard by the virus. We pray that everyone will recover, and as much as possible, we will return to a normal life, a life where we can be close to our family and friends, or even to a stranger in a busy market. Because if that is taken away, we will surely lose our humanity." And this message from Reverend Deanna and our congregational leadership, including the Pastoral Associates team. There have been many important events canceled: wedding plans, graduations, ordinations, important family gatherings, long anticipated trips, swim meets, and other life-giving plans. The loss of these joyous events can be stressful and sorrowful. Much of the daily news locally, nationally, and globally is daunting. We recognize that we are in unknown times. We want you to know that we are here for you, and to remember that we are here for each other. Let us hold in our hearts the joys and sorrows, known and unknown, our own and those of others among us. Let us feel held by this loving community, and let us rejoice in that love. I'd like to repeat the embodied meditation that Reverend Deanna taught us last week. And I'll just read her message with my hand. As you are willing and able, I invite you to extend one hand. With the other, trace the mountain range of your hand, one breath at a time. If this movement is not part of your life ability, you can practice within your imagination. Breathing in on the rise, breathing out on the slide. Breathing in on the rise, breathing out on the slide. Breathing in on the rise, breathing out on the slide. Let's do it one more time together. And in and out. 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 Feel free to keep doing that as it feels like a good way to pause. At any point in any day, remember this beautiful sustaining practice, one that slows us down from the urgency and intensity a moment to refill and restore our sense of connectedness to ourselves and this beautiful world, no matter how hard the stories are around us and sometimes within us. And we're breathing. And now please join me in
Good morning,
welcoming.
Westside, even though it's
We're going to do that. Please join me in welcoming with gratitude the Go Janes to share their story and songs on the arts of inclusion.
morning where you are on Sunday. It's actually Tuesday evening here, where Patrice and I are right now in her living room. This is Patrice O'Neill. I'm Kathleen Tracy. The third member of the Go Janes, Arnie Adler, is sadly self-quarantining, so can't be with us today. And if you hear some banging in the background, there's some construction going on outside. And you might see a couple of little dogs wander through. Those are Patrice and David's dogs, Django and Pearl. And David is tapping away on his computer, on his iPad on the couch, if you hear that. So Arts of Inclusion was the title we gave to this service. And that title was based on a really fascinating article I read by the it's anthropological botanist. I probably got that title wrong. Her name is Anna Tsing, and she is an amazing thinker. And this was an essay about mushrooms. And any of you who have been present at any of the times I've visited Westside will know you're not going to get out of here without hearing about mushrooms. So for those who have not heard this metaphor, I like to use the metaphor of mycelium, which is the filaments of fungal matter that extend throughout the forest floor, sometimes for square miles, actually. They are a delivery system for nutrients to plants far and wide. They have symbiotic relationships with the roots of various plants in the forest. And the author, Paul Stamets, has used the term nature's internet for mycelium. And I think of that many things in our communal lives together function like mycelium. For one, community music. And for other, episodes like what we find ourselves in right now with the coronavirus and all of the fear and anxiety, legitimate fear and anxiety that has generated, and the deep need we have to connect with something beyond our fear, connecting to something bigger that holds us beyond our fear, and also knowing that we're included in a life force that's going to exist beyond the situation. The scientists will eventually rescue us from coronavirus, but what this situation has revealed about our common humanity and our vulnerability as humans, that is the interesting thing that I'm curious to see how we learn from that. So one of the ways we can ground ourselves in that something bigger is by going outside, which fortunately we're all still allowed to do. So, and it's a beautiful time of year. So we're going to start out with a song called Flower Bloom Love. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stems unfurl, lift your heavy head and turn your face into the sun. I wish there was a way anyone could be a flower for a day, like a peony so bodaciously reaching out.
Well, this next little tune that we're going to do is a little bit of lightheartedness because we all need that right now. This is a song called Little Red Purse. I've altered the contents of the Little Red Purse just a tiny little bit to fit the times. So here we go with Little Red Purse. Whoops. Oh, wait. There's this capo thing.
Capos.
What the heck? Capo on a ukulele. What? I got a little red purse with a tiny golden clasp and a silky secret pocket hidden way in the back. Got some money for the bus and some more for lunch and some pennies in a packet. Got 'em all in a bunch and a bet that you could find it if I lost it, even though it's a teeny tiny little red purse. If I fell off a mountain, if I jumped off a cliff, if I drowned in a fountain, if I dove in a ditch, I listened to my mama when she told me that I must always have it with me, I'll always have enough, and I bet that you could find it if I lost it, even though it's a teeny tiny little red purse. I got a quarter and a pencil and a photo of my face, got a letter from my mama and some numbers just in case, got a bandit and a whistle and some teepee and a missile, and it's all in my little red purse. I got a little red purse with a tiny golden clasp and a silky secret pocket hidden way in the back. Got some money for the bus and some more for lunch and some pennies in a packet. Got 'em all in a bunch and I bet that you could find it if I lost it, even though it's a teeny tiny little red purse. I got a quarter and a pencil and a photo of my face, got a letter from my mama with some numbers just in case, got a bandit and a whistle and some teepee and a missile.
There's TV in there.
And it's all in my little red purse. Oh, it's all in my little red purse. Yes, it's all in my little red purse.
Oh yeah, TP.
Small amount of TP, small purse.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to take a moment to tune while I tell you the story of this next song. So we were doing a show up in Bellingham, and we somehow I got to talking about my grandfather's mandolin. Now, the family legend is that my grandfather, who was in World War I, had his mandolin with him, and we had just had the good fortune that day to talk with this wonderful man named Burl, who had been in World War II. Yeah. And he had had his guitar with him. And he was telling us a story about traveling on a transport plane over enemy lines. They were taking some kind of freight to a place. They had to cross enemy lines, so they were over German territory. And he was, the pilot was he was in the area where the pilot was, and he had his guitar with him. And the pilot said, "I'm going to open the comm line, Burl, play your guitar." And so he did, which I don't know what the Germans thought of that. But anyhow, we told this story, and someone in the audience yelled, "Write a song about your grandfather's mandolin." So I did that. And I wrote this song in February of last year while I was sitting at my kitchen table looking outside at the cold winter scene. And I had my grandfather's mandolin sitting on a bench next to the table where I was writing. And I just had a beautiful feeling about feeling so connected with the land here. You know, I just had this really deep, I grew up in this area, and winter is such a deepening time. I just felt deeply connected to it. And there was my grandfather's mandolin, and I was having this feeling, and it really felt to me like I could imagine my grandfather sort of reassembling out of the ground, not in a creepy way, just in an energetic way. And it's almost like he moved to the side door of the kitchen and I let him in, and he sat down at the table, and there he was. And so the song actually kind of spiraled out of that little experience. So this song is called Mandolin.
I can see you uncrumbled from the ground. Come in the side door, sit your body down. Smell of tobacco, flicker of the flame, snap of the lighter, written with your name. I'm an acorn that fell far from the tree. Still the root grows the same for you and me. Here's your mandolin, won't you sing and play? Polly Wolly, doodle all the day. Oh, the day, oh, I went down south. Did it, did it, did do, did do. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well. Oh, the mist is hanging in the trees. Mushrooms rise from beneath the rotting leaves. The way all our hands will crumble to the ground. The way love and music will always be around. Do, 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 So next we have a song that I think a lot of you might know. It's called Light Returns Again. I know your choir has done it. I think I came and did it with your choir actually, not too long ago. It's a song that I usually bring out for my chorus in the solstice time, but it just seems like it's a good song for now. So Patrice and I are going to do it. And one of the central ideas in this song is how darkness is really essential. We wouldn't have light without it, and many things begin in darkness. Hope begins in darkness. And we're in a dark time in so many ways right now. And we are also seeing stirrings of light in the midst of that. So that's what this song is talking about. Light returns again. 1, 2, 3, 4. begins in darkness, sure and steady as the rain, world turning to the light, to the light. The light returns again, courage finds a way to rise. Kindness can answer pain. World turning to the light, to the light. The light returns again. We come from mystery, we're born of the night. Even as our spirits here yearn for the bright, ancient stories of love and light. Something in us knows the darkness sets things right. Hope begins in darkness. Power is the rain. World turning to the light, to the light. The light returns again. Courage finds a way to rise. Kindness can answer pain. World turning to the light, to the light. The light returns again. World turning to the light, to the light. The light returns again. World turning to the light, to the light. The light returns again.
Muting myself and saying again that I am taking a deep breath and feeling that music wash over me. Thank you so much, Kathleen and Patrice, for sharing that, for reminding us about the arts of inclusion and just how vital art is to our sense of connectedness. So when I decided to end my time at Seattle Children's, well, more precisely, when the job and I decided to end our time with each other, I knew two things: that I was not ready to fully retire from working, but that I needed a pause to discern what the right next thing or things would be. Over the last year, I had broached that topic with some of you, my dear Westside friends. Once my departure date was set, I began to consider what my life on the other side of that all-consuming work environment would look and feel like, and knew that with the financial support of my loving spouse, Jill, I'd have the luxury of a sabbatical time to slow down, to simplify, to refocus. When my sister asked after my last workday, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel like I am rejoining the world." But when that day came, the world had changed radically, and many things that had provided me balance and structure outside of work and home were shut down. The ways that I imagined spending my days, creating a new normal, were profoundly altered, and my ability to envision an immediate, let alone a long-term future, felt suddenly smashed and untethered. I know I'm not alone in this. The revelation of how our daily lives are shaped by routines and rituals that often feel confining in their incessant necessity, even if they include activities that we choose and love. It's time to do this, it's time to do that, have to keep going. But for 17 years, I knew that if I had rowing practice at the crack of dawn and Seattle Choral Company rehearsal in the evening, it was Tuesday. And I knew I would be a very tired puppy on Wednesday, but a really happy tired puppy. Now at home for 10 days, I don't know what day it is. Without a work identity, without those daily rhythms, I feel doubly unmoored. But I've been thinking about Peter Mayer's line from one of our favorite hymns, Blue Boat Home, and I realize that I am not untethered at all. Drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. This morning, in this new way we have found to do worship, reminds us that we can stay connected to our communities, even if we can't connect with them in the same ways right now. We're discovering new doors opening as old ones close. But as always, life is as always, music is the lifeblood of this beloved community. And so too is the stubborn and resilient will to reach and keep reaching toward each other in all the ways possible. The Reverend Peg Morgan, when Jill and I first joined this congregation, described that as the DNA of this congregation. It is evident every single moment here. So this is how we will go forward together. We kindred pilgrim souls. Please join now in singing UU hymn number 1018, Come and Go With Me.
One, two, three. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. Where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. Sing it. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound.
Wonderful. I can feel people clapping all over Seattle to that. Our service will end with the singing of our fivefold amen and hearing a postlude from the Go Janes. Thank you to this wonderful band for their musical gifts today, and to the worship support team, most especially Soph Davenberry, today's VJ, who literally made our collective worship experience possible. Now remember, during the postlude, look in the chat area for the Zoom link to the virtual coffee hour, where we can visit with each other until about noon. Shannon is going to have to exit our current webinar and open up the new meeting. So you'll sort of see that that's happening as well, but there'll be a link to the Zoom coffee hour. And now you're invited to hold hands in body or spirit, or touch shoulders, or make eye contact wherever you are, while I share today's closing words and we release our chalice flame. Our closing words are by the Reverend Joe Cleveland from the UU congregation of Saratoga Springs in upstate New York. May we hear the melody of life and find ourselves singing harmony. May we be open to the dissonances and the song of the land and its people, that we might be part of the world's urging toward justice, peace, and love. May we feel in our bones the rhythms of life and the land, and find ourselves dancing.